Stay connected to Larry Reid Live. Take a moment and like the Facebook page, subscribe to the YouTube page, and hit the bell. Text Larry Reid Live to 33222. That's the words Larry Reid Live, no spaces, to 33222, and get notified when we go live. Become a member of Patreon today by logging on to patreon.com/Larry Reid Live. Download the Patreon app and turn on your notifications. Get connected today.
Introducing Larry D. Reid.
All right, welcome to Larry Reid Live. I'm the host, Larry D. Reid, and I need for each and every one of you right now to take a moment and hit like and hit share so that a whole lot of different people can come and back and see this live. I'm doing this live in the middle of my day, in the middle of my work day, but I wanted to come and have this conversation with you guys. I'm still dealing with this cough. It left and then it came back. And every time I've taken air, it tickles the back of my throat and it makes me want to, it's just what it is. So if you can endure a little bit of coughing, then we can have a little piece of a conversation. But I need for you to take a moment versus you just looking and watching. Take a moment and hit like and hit share so that everyone can at least hear the conversation that I'm going to be having concerning trauma and triggers. Now, if you did not watch the documentary on last night, then you're not going to know where this conversation is coming from. So I would like to invite you to take a moment right now and go back to the upload right before this one that happened on November the 22nd. Today is November the 23rd. And go back and watch it. If you do that, you're going to have a great backdrop for a great canvas is going to be created for this conversation to be painted on. If you have not watched it, do yourself a favor and those that you love and make sure that you're not watching it by yourself, that you are sharing it with other people. Because I believe that my story and the story of my sisters and those that decided to share, my niece as well, I think that these stories are, they're filled with something that has the power and the ability to create a conversation, which is part of my calling, but also to probably induce some form of healing, whether it is a conversation that exposes a feeling with those, people that you need to have a conversation with. I'm not telling anybody to come out here and start writing people's name on the social media, because it's not what I did. It's not what I believe, it's my personal belief. It's not what I believe anybody who has suffered any type of trauma, childhood trauma surrounding molestation and rape need to do. Now, that's just my opinion, because after that, you're still left with the work that you need to do on a personal level that is necessary. Let me explain something. It's important for you to have the conversation, for you to say the person's name, for you to have the transparency at the moment of disclosure. And for me, that happened, number one, with myself. I had to make a statement to myself about myself, and then I had to have a conversation with God. And then there were people that were in my life that I could talk to. I had mentors, I had coaches, I had friends, family that I was able to speak to. And that provided me a space and a place from which I could then begin to do some soul work and some healing. One of the people that was involved as relates to trauma that was in my life, but to tell you the truth, everybody that I had an ability to talk to, I did. And those conversations were they went like this. I expressed what I expressed, and then I listened to what they said. I never poured out any blame. I never poured out any type of need to fight back or for them to hear me. It was about me saying what I needed to say so that my soul can be recognized within myself. And it is a journey, and it is something that has to continually happen when you have suffered trauma. So the conversation I'm going to be having today, you may hear it in a way that you have not heard it before, because maybe you have not heard a black male talk about his trauma, someone out of the church to talk about their trauma so blatantly, and then also have a picture of their healing. You guys have watched me move and function with and in my healing and use the pain you didn't know about to then cause other people to laugh through their pain, work through their pain, and actually become great contributors in our community. Well, that's what I did, and you can do the exact same thing. But I don't want you to get hung up and caught up on the person that pained you or the person that created the trauma or the people now and the situations that are triggering you. You can get stuck in trauma. You can get stuck in being triggered, and you can oscillate back and forward, which makes you dizzy. And it causes you to be incomplete when it comes to development and maturing. You're stuck in a childlike mindset, and you're in a process of sabotaging your own success. You're in an abusive relationship with yourself. I did it. And so I know it really, 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 really well. I worked through it. I know for many of you, you watch the documentary like, oh my God, now I understand you more. And that's the reason why I did it, because, you know, in Patreon, I have been sharing since 2019, May, openly, me and those around me. If you watched Reading Things My Way Season 1, because you're a patron, or either you went over there to readingthingsmyway.tv and you click to rent or to download or to buy, you've heard some of these conversations. If I pastored you the 20 years when I was pastoring in the box, or if I pastor you now cyberly, you know these stories well. And I've used them to teach, to mentor, in several conversations over during again. But I know as the LarryReidLive brand grows, and as I continue to do my work, I meet many of you for the first time. And so I'm trying to get it to where I'm bringing more of my story, past and present, especially present, which is what Reading Things My Way Season 2 is going to be about. And you have already seen the trailer for that. I'm going to play it one time before we leave here today. The first episode of Reading Things My Way Season 2, it airs Sunday night, this Sunday night on the 28th at 7 o'clock. I do believe it is, it may be 8. No, it's 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Sunday. You don't want to miss it. And we pull you right into our life, and you get to watch those around me do some healing and some relationships repair from the things that happen in our life. So get ready for a journey. It's going to be entertaining, but it's also going to be educational and empowerment. The MBN Network's theme, which sponsors LarryReidLive, and all of the content you see that has been created is done by the MBN Network and its partners, its members, patrons. All of these people make this possible, which I want to say thank you and hats off to everybody that's over there in Patreon, and give you an opportunity to become a patron. patreon.com/LarryReidLive. Become a patron, and there are benefits and exclusives. There are things that we do that only patrons can be a part of. And I want you to be with me on that journey, and with all these thousands of people that are probably on a very similar journey that you are on. So it's been a very interesting night because of releasing that documentary. let me say something to you. First of all, I need everybody to hit like, everybody to hit share so you can be in on this conversation. It's been very interesting overnight because I had a conversation with my elder sister that we have never had before, and there were some things disclosed to me that I did not know. And what I realized by watching this documentary and also listening to her and speaking with some of my other cousins is that I have a story of coming out and then going and living my life and experiencing all that is good and great about my family, my upbringing. It all sits in my soul, and those were gifts to me. One thing I definitely have to say, I'm so glad I was raised by Tadaro and Ethelene Reid. And because I was born in the church, I was born in spirituality, and without that, I would not be where I am now and who I am. And so by no means am I looking back at my past and where I come from, and I'm flinging it away. To do that is to throw away a part and a piece of myself. And I hope you're not doing the same thing. Or that you are doing the same thing, not flinging it away. Because you will be throwing away a piece and a part of yourself that is essential to the fulfillment of your destiny, your calling, and your purpose. And without that experience, I will not be who I am on today. Which is the reason why I honor all of my past leaders, beginning with my parents and beginning with even those family members and cousins and things of that nature, even those that violated or misread what I needed and they gave to me what was given to them. I can't, I can't have anything in my heart. I don't have anything in my heart. At some point in time, I did, but I just don't. When I've done the soul work and I walked through the trauma. In doing that, I was able to grow and mature. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about traumas and triggers. But I do want to say this as well. What I came into the knowledge of by speaking with my sister is that I went the direction that at 17 years old, I heard God tell me, actually began at 15, the conversation to go an entirely different route than everyone around me and before me had went. And I realize now that it was much bigger than me. And even what I went through was bigger, way bigger than me. And I was one of many. Some things I knew, but there's a whole lot of things I just did not know. And with that being said, I want you guys to really understand the magnitude of what you have watched and what you're going to see in part 2. And now, with some things that's been disclosed, now they could be a part 3 because I'm not going to stop this storytelling now. It starts with me, but I'm not going to stop this storytelling. Especially seeing your comments and what has woken up in the inside of you guys and what this is doing for you. Oh, no, I'm not. This is just like a story on my platform. I'm not going to stop it. So I know there's going to be a part 2. Once that footage is restored, I pray to God it's restored so we ain't got to go spend more money and retape and flights and all that kind of stuff. Then we're going to let you see that. I'm going to see it for the first time because I wasn't there when anything was recorded. But we may even take it farther. Bring it all the way up to date and then spread it out the people that are around me as far as my family. Because reading things my way is about, the people that I work with, the people that have been like family and friends for years since I left home at 17. So these people I have known that you've seen on the show. I think the person I've known the shortest on the show is Kendall. I mean, then we have the accountant and things of that nature, but as far as right by me is Kendall, and I've known him 16 years. So most of the people you see on Reading Things My Way that are connected to me, I've been knowing 20, 25, several years. And even some of those you saw in the documentary, like Roderick and Tavares, you're talking about, I met as teenagers, and we're still friends now. But I think the documentary, there's something, it's much bigger than me. If you feel that way, type in the chat, Larry is bigger than you. Because I just feel like Larry is bigger than you. So keep this story going. You're telling your story, but at the same time, you're going to tell a family story. You're going to tell some of your cousin's story, and it's going to help them heal. And I don't know if you noticed this. We did that all aired last night with telling nobody's name, with blaming nobody, but talking about the experience. And you guys watched me learn this on this platform, and I have always said this on this platform, always. I said, my job is talking about what is public, but why y'all put all this stuff out here on the internet? And I know some people still don't understand, the work that we do here. I wish you guys could see my inbox with people giving me pictures and videos of people's personal business, and the women that had relationship with these powerful men, and they just go wrong, and they find out they're 1 of 10, and they're mad and sending me all these, X pictures and texts, and they really don't understand that my work is bigger than being that platform by which you can get back at your baby daddy or your ex. That ain't how that work. There's another way to go about your healing and getting your voice heard, and you can do it in a way that can induce your own healing and the healing of other people without getting into the mess of it. And we done that last night without harming anybody. Now, they know who they are. They know exactly who they are. And we know who they are. But that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is telling you and showing you how I made it this far, how we made it this far, how we are going through the process, and even showing you the ugly. And I really wish, I'm going to talk to my older sister. She's going to have to really allow us to get more into her story because she's female, and she was the eldest born of us. And she told me something last night that I think it's phenomenal, and it needs to be discussed, and it can be done in a way that I think is so tactful. I think it will. Of course, you're going to enjoy it. Anytime somebody starts sharing their story, there's a level of entertainment that comes with it. But more than entertainment, it's going to be so empowering, and it's going to be so impacting. I'm going to have to talk to her about that because I just did not know. And I wondered why sometimes she was a complete bitch. What? And now I get it. I wonder why sometimes I get, God, you're so inventive in making us, that's a lie, lying self. And he all the time doing some messy, that's just, that was the thing. But I get it. And a lot of times what can end up happening is you're not knowing somebody's trauma. You don't know why they are a complete bitch. Oh, excuse me, I slipped the word. You don't know why they are so attitudish, so negative. I'm not talking about my sister now, I'm talking about some of you now. I'm going down the line. Why they are a complete whore. I mean, a complete entire. I don't need to be hollering my voice. Some kind of the coughing thing. Calm down, Reid. A complete entire whore. How are we gonna say that from now on? You are a whore. Why are they such a whore? Oh my God. Oh Jesus. So I really want you guys, as we're telling this story, to understand the level of vulnerability it takes. The level of openness that it takes. Because, excuse me, because for some, it could be hard. And I saw somebody say, oh, your parents didn't understand, your parents this, your parents this. I said in my documentary, it was hard parenting a reformer. I'd done everything opposite. And then plus, as a child, I was bad anyway. I mean, I always did stuff wrong. This is before Jesus. So then this carried on, and after I get saved, I remember when it first came home, like, you ain't getting no saved. Not you with your bad ass. So, but I did. And then when I took the chair at the church, it was like, oh my God, this is really happening. My daddy had just preached. It was in July, like my cousin Tennille Francesca said. And then it became a thing, and now it was a whole nother thing. And so that was difficult for them. But my parents, as you know and you see, we have relationship. And the relationship that we have, like my mom said, she said, some things you don't bring up, because it can go another way. And I'm okay with that. Although I'm not saying that all of you watching me have to be like that. I did a lot of work. I left home at 17. And as you heard, it was all church and religious based. And I did a lot of work. I'm 43. So I can engage and love out of a pure heart with an understanding. And some things I don't understand, but it don't even matter. Because what's most important is that I love my parents, and I know my parents love me. Now, I still think they don't too much like me. Maybe not my mama. I think she do like me, because it just depends on what it is. Everybody loves to like me until I come up, because I'm the one that's going to say it a certain kind of way, and it's just not going to be good. For instance, one of my cousins hit me up, and they said, did you say that Grandpa, who is our family's, our golden calf, our golden cow. It's idolized our grandfather, and rightfully so. And did you say your grandfather molested you? I said, no. Who in the whole hell in heaven thought that? I said, only way you can think that, because of the editing, the way there was sequenced some things, I said I jumped up in his lap. But if you watch the whole thing with all the praise and adoration, you couldn't leave that conversation thinking that. I said, whoever called you and asked you that is a complete hoe and a stirrer. That's what I said. And it's statements like that in my family, where we're sort of taught to, that makes me end up appearing to be the troublemaker, because that's my personality. And then in the spirit, when I got saved at 15 and got filled with the Holy Ghost, and I started prophesying, talking about the events that were to happen, my prophecies were never good. It was always, in 8 months, death is going to come into the church. And I see a flower being picked, from I think that was one of the last prophecies I prophesied at First Baptist Eureka. I was standing in the field, and a flower was being picked, and I prophesied about the death that was coming in the leadership. That was, and then I seen another man's hand come, and he plucked another flower, and that was basically, I was visiting, and Reverend Fort was preaching. He died right after that. Hold on, no. My niece died first, then Reverend Fort died. I wonder, it was the leadership of the church that didn't I think, Reverend Dunn died in that time too, I think, which is Lisa's daddy. I can't remember. So you got my personality being as it was, and then my gift was LarryReidLive. So it was difficult being my parent, but I tell anybody, and I've always said I have the best parents in the world. All of the rah that happened before I moved, and then some afterwards, I think you've experienced it too. I'm pretty sure you have experienced it too on some level. But I made a conscious decision. I will never forget, my mama called me in 2017, and my sister Nell did too. And they're going through this whole, God said, you should be preaching and pastoring in the church in the box. What you're doing now is not of God, and all that kind of stuff. I get it. I understand. Totally. And that does not bother me when people say that to me. And I guess it should have, coming from my parents and my elder sister. I knew they did not hear from God. I knew it. I knew it was what they felt strongly, and felt was right. Certainly God could not be in me up here doing what I'm doing and joking and jesting and, doing comedy. And no, God is not in that. I understand that. That didn't bother me. What bothered me was because I was doing that, somehow or another, the relationship would possibly become breached again. But thanks be to God it didn't, because on that phone conversation I had with my mom that day, and I remember I was crying. I think she was crying too. And I ain't even no cry here like that. I sit there with tears running, swallow that thing, put it down in my belly. You was not getting busted. No, you was not about to crack my balls out here in front of everybody. No. And so I remember saying, you are my mom and I love you. That is what is important to me. We don't have to agree. We're just not going to make it a conversation, making an issue. And that was that. That was 2017. I won't ever forget that. And so from then to now, they have not been a conversation about what they don't like, what they don't agree with. And I ain't had no conversation about what they don't like, what they don't agree with. We have been focused on the love part, and it has been absolutely great and wonderful, and I have enjoyed it. And it is also my endeavor for the rest of my life that my mom and my dad will enjoy the rest of their life debt-free, and they will not worry about a dollar. That's what I am going to do. And that's my way of showing the Lord and honoring them that I thank you, God, for them and me coming by way of this bloodline and not some of them other bloodlines I done seen. I thank you, Jesus. It won't like that. Wait, hold on for a minute. I'm on live right now. I hit you back. All right. All right. Hold on. I can't control how everyone views things, but the majority saw them as great parents. Okay, that's my mom and daddy texting me. With my daddy. He thought he was just texting me, but it was in the thread with mama, so I hate to have to be in there tonight. Anyway, now let's have a discussion. I don't know what I was talking about, but I done got off the topic. So let me go ahead and have this conversation about trauma and about triggers, and I'm hoping that this will help someone that is watching that is dealing with trauma and how to handle your triggers. Because what I realize is that a lot of people are forrucking up their entire life. And the reason why that they're forrucking up their entire life is because they have suffered trauma and it's unhealed and it's undealt with. I have experienced the same thing. And I was sabotaging my successes. The possibility of success was being sabotaged by me. And I had got into a blame game for a little bit of time as it relates to those that had mishandled me, violated me, and anyone that would say or do any darn thing, I'm talking about externally now, that resembled what I had heard, what I had went through, that traumatized me, I got obsessed with them. And what I explained to you just now is really this truth, and you need to write this down, that all triggers are internal. Now, I have a master's in counseling. I have a master's in divinity. I also just completed my doctorate in ministry. I also have a doctorate of theology that I got before then. I'm not a stupid person. I'm not a dumb person. Then I have all these years, 20 years in the box, pastoring and counseling people. Then after that, I went into entertainment and really counseling and pastoring people a different way, giving empowerment education through entertainment, especially in my Patreon that many of you don't know nothing about. So I'm not uneducated and without experience. I know what they teach you in school because they taught me. And they talked about triggers having an internal and an external element. No, I remember telling my professor, I said, I don't believe this. Because I had done the work, and I don't believe it. Triggers are internal. I want everybody to type in the chat, triggers are internal. I see some of you have begun to write that anyway. They are all internal. Don't you believe that lie that they teach y'all in school is not true? Some of this stuff wrote in these books is stuff wrote by people that's looking at during the process, the scientific method on survey, study, hypothesis, looking at it like that, and they come up with some of this stuff. But this is what I know as someone who walked through trauma and still dealing with trauma at 43 years old. There's still some things left that I'm dealing with because of my trauma in the single digits, and I'm 43. Trauma is real. Triggers are internal. And whenever my trigger that I carry with me every day my trigger is looking and surveying my entire life, looking for something that resembles the trauma that I've been through. And it can be a look, it can be a word, it can be a condition or a situation. And when my trigger see that, it associates itself with that thing externally, and that person, place, conditional thing becomes the object of my trigger's obsession. Now, let me tell you something about obsession. Obsession is a compulsive disorder. Let me repeat. It is an compulsive disorder when you get obsessed. Let me tell you the deception, the self-deception that is in obsession. When you get obsessed with something or a person or a thing, you bypass a space and a place in your reasoning faculty, and you go on a hunt for all of the information, all of the feeling, all of the trappings associated with this thing that you're now obsessed with, that does nothing but continually feeds your obsession. I want you to think about it even in a sexual sense. When you get obsessed with something and how it takes so much of your life, how it takes so much of your attention. Hold on. I'm live. I hit you back. How it takes so much of your attention. How you'll work an 8-hour job just to get home to do it. How you will check on it if it's one of those apps all day long, according to what part of the city you're in, just to see if there ain't any new faces. Just look. You're totally obsessed. And when there is obsession, then there is a compulsive disorder. And you get compulsive. And 9 times out of 10, once you get triggered, and that trigger becomes associate with itself with that thing externally, and you become obsessive. Now you start moving into a compulsive disorder now, because you're looking at this person, this place, or this thing, and you're looking for all of the cues, all in and everything that does nothing but reiterates why you're obsessed with this person. Let's look at anger. If you've been traumatized, you have a father fracture or mama drama, mama trauma, and somebody on the outside of you says something or does something that resembles the feelings now that your mama trauma, your father fracture, or sibling rivalry gave you, that are still in you, in your trauma body. The moment that happens, you get obsessed with that person. You, and you said, and I saw how you look, and I saw what you said, what you done, and you always say this, and that's just how you are, which could all be facts. But the deeper truth is, your trigger is now obsessed, and this person is the object of your obsession. And now anything they say or do that reiterates your obsession, you're going to highlight. It's probably a fact. But what's going on holds a deeper truth, and it has everything to do with you and not them. And so they continue to be. You get compulsive now. Now, compulsive disorder always leads to explosive behavior and moving in a way that is toxic for you and then any and everybody that's connected or around you. You start being self-sabotaging, toxic to your own self through your own behavior. I lived there for years. And you know what? I don't know really what woke me. I can't pinpoint it when it was, but somewhere in the fasting, praying, reading, having a relationship with different people, something happened to me. I remember my older brother said to me, he said, "Larry, boy, you were so mean, but now you're so different now." And he said, this was years ago, he said, "I see why you left when you were 17, because now you a whole lot better than what you was." And I said, "Thank you, bruh." That's what we call him, bruh. I don't know when it happened, but it was over a course of time. I do remember what I was doing during those times. I was realizing what I just explained to you and what I was doing to my darn self. And I got tired of that. I recognized, I guess because of my trauma and abuse, that I was traumatizing and abusing my own self and allowing myself to abuse myself. I said, and other people too. I said, you know what? This here is not how this is going to go. Remember, triggers are internal. It associates itself with something externally. You become obsessive and then compulsive. Toxic behavior shows up. Toxic to you and everybody around you. Sabotage you. If you can hear what I said and start recognizing it, go back over the last few things that happened in your life and see if you can see it happen in the sequence I just explained. If you do that, I absolutely promise you, it's not going to take you long. It's not going to take you long. That you can have a couple or few opportunities to show up for you to operate opposite of what you did last time and not get into that sequence of sabotage and toxic behavior. Take 2 or 3 times. After that, that level is complete. You move on to something else. I promise you. But you got to take a moment and listen to what I said about trauma and triggers and really rehearse it and get it in your know it really well. You'll know it good. And then you're going to stop yourself dead in your track and you will not be that person anymore. I promise you that. Absolutely. So that's basically what I wanted to share right now. There's going to be part 2. And part 2, there are other people that were interviewed that are key to this story. And I'm so glad they were a yes. If the footage comes back to us proper, then part 2 will be out, maybe even before January. But if it doesn't, then we're going to have to go to work. Might have to pause reading things my way, get back on the road, go back to these people, do another interview. But we're going to finish it. And this may become a 3-part thing because of the conversation I had with my sister. I want to be involved in helping and assisting her and vocalizing some of this stuff and sharing. And I know it's going to help people. Because what I did not know is it was so bad that she actually went to a therapist and went under hypnosis to get into the recesses of her memory where she had buried stuff. Oh, and when she came out, the notepad that the lady had, it was amazing. And so I want to get into all of that. Let me see what you guys are saying. And this is normally something I would have shared just with patrons, but I decided to come out here and share this with all of you guys. You come back and you'll watch this, and hopefully it will help you and it will assist you. I'll take questions and have conversation and go deeper in Patreon this week, of course. But I wanted to leave this out here to help since it is airing out here publicly. Now, if you have watched and you have enjoyed, you heard something, you say that was rich, that was great. Right now, $ MBN Network in 8s or 12, that's my divine number here, $8.88, $12.88, or whatever you want to do, as long as it's 12s and 8s. Send it on into the MBN Network or Venmo @MBN Network, or you can go to the LarryReidLive, LarryReidLive.com platform and click donate. That's PayPal that way. Or you can do it through Square by texting the word give to this phone number 404 800 4530. 404 800 4530. All right. Or you can mail it in 780 Morosgo Drive, Northeast, suite number 244224. Oh yeah, there's Zelle too. Zelle email address is info@thembnnetwork.org. Once again, the address 780 Morosgo Drive, unit number 244224, Atlanta, Georgia, 30324. Take a moment and send the documentary to somebody that you know and tell them to watch it. Then send them this link to follow up for them to watch, okay? All right, I'll speak with you guys later. God bless you, and I love you a whole lot. So what? Am I going to do what now? Oh, Reading Things My Way. It airs on Sunday. Watch the promo. I'll see you later.
Reading Things My Way Season 2 is underway. But in Season 2, I got a feeling it's going to be a whole mess. And I want to go ahead and apologize right now for some of the things that is going to be said and some of the things that is going to be done. I'm so sorry. So sorry. I
what did I feel about Thanksgiving dinner? I was super nervous about coming to Thanksgiving dinner because
What does that have to do with the fact that she left me?
What happened before I left?
The car.
What happened before I left?
Don't make no difference. You left.
You threatened her, Reid?
no, they had hot sex
Broke me
in the
before
bathroom.
I left.
Is that so?
Hot
So
sex.
we,
That's why you came back. Right. Well, Shamako is the same Shamako that he was in the first season. Ain't no different.
I'm taking your advice and I'm stepping the hell out.
If Mako is impatient, he's going to speak a certain kind of way.
He's been his typical self, being all impatient, and it just sent me over the edge.
Really? See, that stuff, when I'm talking, you make those kinds of faces. Shut up with it.
Girl, let me tell you, these motherfuckers is crazy.
We went through the Reid family and our little group for season 1. I don't know if they ready. Because every and anything that they have not discussed and worked through, oh, it's coming out of this show.
Larry